Welcome to another episode of What's Up with Wendy. HGTV stars share their top tips for achieving home wellness. You won't want to miss this with Chip and Pauli Wade. And listen in at the end of this podcast for a limited time only special offer from the #1 weighted blanket in the world, My Blankwell. Craftsman, carpenter, HGTV personality Chip Wade, realtor, HGTV personality Pauli Wade, WadeWorks creative co-founders are joining me live to discuss tips to create wellness in your home. Welcome both of you to my show.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, hi.
Thank you for being here. Home wellness. So a recent survey of home wellness, 99% of Americans said they achieve a healthy home, that to achieve a healthy home was important, but 64% said that their home isn't as healthy as they'd like it to be.
That is exactly right, and I think we can all relate to that. We all like the idea of having a healthy home, but it's just we don't necessarily know what to do. So we've got a handful of easy tips that we've put together that I think everybody can benefit from.
Okay, I'm ready.
Well, the first tip is super simple. It's to take your shoes off when you come in your front door. Not only are you attracting dirt, but you're actually bringing in airborne toxins into your house on the soles of your shoes. I mean, think about wherever you walk, all the things that your shoes pick up, and then you bring it into the house. It doesn't just stay on the floor. It gets into the air that we breathe. So if you have a small bench, a little cozy nook, a place where you and your guests can both sit and be comfortable and take off their shoes before you eliminate a lot of those toxins that you bring into your house.
That's so smart. Such a good, when you think about it, like I'm listening to you say, I'm like, yes, of course. You don't want to walk through your whole house with shoes where you've been God knows where all day.
Well, yeah, you think it's just like, oh, okay, I've checked the bottom of my shoes. They look clean, but they're not.
Yes.
That's the misconception. And another really interesting misconception from that survey was that most people think that their indoor air is cleaner than their outdoor air, but the EPA says it can be up to 5 times more polluted inside our houses than it can be outside. So the really easy tip for that is just to open your windows, especially on these beautiful weather days. Open those windows so that those indoor toxins can get out, let that outdoor fresh air get in, and kind of recirculate through the house.
Smart, too. Good, easy tips, too.
That's right, yeah. I mean, and while we're talking about air filtration, everybody knows you need to change your air filters, but similar to changing your oil, sometimes you let it slip a little bit too long, right? Maybe you go 5,000 or 6,000 miles and be like, whoops, gotta go get that done. But that's another thing on our to-do list, which, again, that brings stress into our lives, having more to think about. I like to remove things to think about. So actually subscribing to a subscription-based filtration replacement is one of the smartest things that you can do. You log in one time, put in your filter size, and then every 3 months you can get a new one sent to your doorstep, and that's when you know you need to change them. Actually, Second Nature has a great subscription plan that does this awesome.
So
but just imagine
smart.
that, right? Mm-hmm. It's just something else to take off your calendar, to take off your to-do list, and when it shows up in a cardboard box, we're always eager to open it up, right?
Yeah, true. What is there? What did I order now?
Oh, yay, I forgot I ordered that.
You know what? You're right. Then you don't have to think about. I mean, there's so many things we have to think about in our daily lives. This is takes it off the list.
That's right. Now, while you're thinking of filtration, the other thing is actually our water quality. A lot of folks are like, I don't know if the water in my city is good. Mm-hmm. I don't. Maybe it tastes okay, but I don't really know, right? So what I recommend is actually getting a water filtration system for the house, but you don't have to do the whole house, big, crazy, expensive thing. Start with your refrigerator. Most refrigerators have a water filter built inside. They're very cost-effective, and you only replace them every 6 months or so. What we found actually in that same survey is that 4 out of 5 Americans actually think filtered tap water tastes just as good as bottled water, and it absolutely does.
I agree 100%.
So if we can just, most bottled water is glorified tap water anyways. So, I just read something the other day that was like, oh, goodness. Well, so a lot of it is your own perception of what it is that you're drinking. But if you can have an actual filter on it and know that water is clean and that it tastes good, we're not buying all that extra plastic. We also have an unlimited supply of it. And I like to have good ice to drink water on top of. That's what I do. I have a big, massive, 40-ounce cup that I keep on my desk. I fill it with good of that, that little cublet ice that just makes everything taste better. Fill it up with water, and I drink a lot more water, and I can just do it right straight out of the tap.
Smart. I like that. Okay, so if you just tuned in, I'm talking to HGTV personalities Chip and Pauli Wade, updating your light bulbs.
that's another thing that folks don't even realize makes a difference in your home wellness. And it's more about light temperature than anything else. It's not just about getting energy-efficient light bulbs. So our bodies are actually very, very responsive to light and light temperature. So it's proven that kind of later in the evening, if we have a warmer light, like more of a golden light rather than that cool blue light that's a little bit dimmer, it actually puts our bodies in a state that gets us ready for a more restful sleep. So, again, that's an easy thing that we can do. Now, earlier in the day, our bodies actually respond more to cool light with higher intensity. Oh. So that makes us more alert. It makes us more conversational. All these types of things also improve relationships, right? So the tip here is that there's technology out there where you can buy one light bulb that you can actually change temperatures throughout the day, and make settings to where you can just set it one time and say, like, hey, at 8 p.m., the light changes to this color temperature.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, and it's awesome, and then you don't have to deal with it. But, I mean, these are little things, though, that actually do have impact on our well-being.
I can see that. So which ones do you recommend?
There's all kinds of different ones. So in fact, there's so many brands. Most brands have a version of this, so it doesn't even take that long to look to find them. A lot of it is about the lighting control, right? So pick the one that has the interface that you like. In fact, you may have an app that already controls a brand. So what I recommend is more so than the brand, find one that is easy to control from an app maybe that you already are using to just eliminate having excess apps and controls.
Times have changed, haven't they?
They have, but in a good way when we know what's important to look for and what to implement.
And what about clutter?
Clutter, of course. Well, to each his own on that. I'm a neat freak, more so than my wife.
I heard that.
But I mean, I like having less stuff to just hold dirt and debris. I mean, similar kind of the first tip we shared with you. The less stuff that you have, the easier it is to clean. So there is some merit to,
and it feels good to get rid of all that stuff.
I agree. I'm in your camp. I
hold on to things too, but when I get rid of things, I'm like, wow, that feels really good.
Again, we live in a very, prosperous time. But for me, if I'm not using something, again, we read all these things about things bringing you joy and all that type of stuff. Like, everybody has their own perspective on all of this. But for me, it's like if I haven't touched it or utilized it in about 6 months, it actually is better for me to either give it away or get rid of it, even if I have to engage with it again later.
Yeah.
The amount of stress to store it, to clutter it, and to hoard it, honestly, is, I think, more of an offset than just cleansing yourself from it and then going back and re-engaging it. If we think that we can't, cycle things through, I think that this is kind of a statement of, like, the compromise of having a lot, and prosperity. That's kind of like the flip side to it.
But that's the purpose behind home wellness, is making those choices up front that set you up for success. So whether it's whatever method you pick, a one in, one out, or however you purge, or whatever you're doing to make sure that your systems are updated, it's making those decisions up front and then kind of coasting from there.
And if you don't want to do it yourself, make your kids do it first.
Right, exactly. Get those shoes off before you walk in the house. HGTV personalities Chip and Pauli Wade, thank you so much for joining us on secondnature.com. They can go get more information. This is all about home wellness. Thank you for bringing us those great tips.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks you too.
Thanks for listening to today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my podcast channel for weekly interviews, and please tell your friends. You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wendy Lowy Sloan. That's Wendy Lowy Sloan, WendyLowySLOANE, and on Facebook, What's Up with Wendy. And for a limited time only, you can get the #1 weighted blanket in the world for 40% off. Use code WENDY for 40% off myblankwell.com. That's myblankwell, BLANQUIL.com for a limited time only, 40% off with the code WENDY.